Looks good on the screen strap, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's one of those watches, talking about road mapping, this is a great watch to wear for this, because I'm not sure I want to keep it, there's too much overlap between this and the dynamic.
Definitely not. Like your only real keeper is probably your Grand Seiko, when it comes down to it.
It's perfect. 20 bar, water resistant.
Yeah. And like maybe you'll add more,
there.
you'll probably add more pieces, but like that's one that you like probably can't imagine yourself selling.
Hi guys, I'm Pat.
I'm Adam.
And welcome to
Properly Wow,
where we offer you consumer's opinion on everything watch related. And today we have a video that's a bit philosophical. It's actually based off of a blog that you just put on the website.
It's
a
little article, guys. Check it out. We'll have the link in the description. I did a little article on road mapping, and we'll sort of go through the 5 steps of road mapping that I wrote about. But this is sort of, so how should I say this? So, we have a YouTube channel, so it's really easy to justify buying and selling a lot of different pieces because we get to review them. And even just as a watch enthusiast in general, it's a lot of fun to just experience a lot of different watches. I'm probably, over the last 5 years, like at about 100 watches bought and sold, you know what I mean? And it makes it even worse when you can at least break even, or maybe even make a couple bucks, because then you don't really feel bad about it. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, like I'll buy this, who cares? As long as you get the right deal, right? That's imperative. But I'm kind of getting tired a little bit of the buying and the flipping and the trading and the buying and the flipping and the buying and the buying and the buying and the flipping and the flipping, just constant back and forth. Because for me, watches have almost become, or they did become, more of like a...
less of a hobby and more of an obsession.
Obsession, but also enjoying the watches wasn't really the hobby. It was more of the hunt for the next watch. Instead of enjoying the watch that I had on my wrist. You know what I mean? So I kind of want to slow it down and make a list of watches that I really want to own, that I'm going to enjoy seeing on my wrist, instead of watches that I'm just going to buy, have for a month, review it, and then sell it. You know what I mean? And then maybe regret it or whatever. You know what I mean? So I guess with that said, maybe your thoughts first, and we'll sort of go through the steps in the article that I talked about.
So yeah, guys, it's interesting. Everything Adam said holds true for me as well, and I don't know if it's this way for you guys, but as you can probably tell from the title of this video, flipping is sort of like a big thing for I'm going to say serious watch collectors, but for a lot of us watch collectors. Like, I find myself mostly involved in the hunt or searching for a particular watch more so than I am enjoying my watches, which is really tragic. You know what I mean? Because honestly, one of the truest statements I heard before, and I can't peg the source, but what was the best watch? What is the best watch? And the best watch is the one that's on your wrist. You know, the one you spend the most time with, the one you enjoy the most wearing. But I've sort of lost sight of that as well. You know, I get so hung up on watches I enjoy, the thought of ownership of, that I don't enjoy the ones I actually own.
Yeah.
So far as this is concerned, I've never really road mapped my next purchase. I sort of have an off-road map of what I like. And if I see it, I would pick it up. But it does, but
But that's the problem too, is because like you might have a watch that you decide you really like, but it's a little bit impulsive. You decide you want it, and within a week you already purchased it. Instead of sort of sitting on your road mapped goals for, I don't know, 3 months, maybe 6 months, maybe even a year, to make sure that you still really, really want that watch. So this is all great and everything. So I'm under a watch buying freeze right now, actually. Me and Pat Ma, he's an administrator in our Facebook group, we made a pact that we cannot buy a watch for 2 months, and we have to roadmap our collection. So with that said, I'll go ahead through the steps of road mapping in my article. So first thing is identifying your core keepers. And I'm not talking about the keepers that you think are keepers, but the watches that you truly can't part without.
Yeah. And as
for
the
me,
name
that's
would
only
suggest, as the name would suggest, guys, that jargon literally just means something that you want to have in your collection for the long term. You know, because you throw around the term keeper and lifer, I kind of think they're interchangeable.
Yeah.
But a lifer is something that obviously you wouldn't ever consider selling. A keeper is something that you intend to have for long term.
Okay. For this sake, then I'm saying lifer.
You can say lifer.
I'm saying lifer, and I have
Figure out what you want as a lifer.
I have 2 watches that are lifers.
Okay.
And that's my Nomos Orion because that was my graduation gift and like my first really nice piece. And then my Rolex Explorer because that's my first Rolex and it was a birth year Rolex. So even my Speedy, even though I love it to death, it's not a lifer for me because that's something that I can replace with maybe a modern one or get another early 90s Speedmaster. But that Rolex, you can't really replace that. And of course, the graduation gift, you can't replace that.
Clearly,
either.
yeah, because that's more than a tangible thing.
It'll always be my first Rolex.
And that's the thing with Speedy. Like, does it feel like it's diminished the quality of the watch that the design has been in production for so long? That there's so many that you feel you can just pick it up at any time?
No, it doesn't diminish that, but that's still in the back of my head though. That I could always pick it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like a lot of Speedy owners, and I've seen people, even on our Facebook group, sell a Speedy, pick another Speedy up. We're talking about the Omega Speedmaster, obviously. But they'll buy the Speedy, they'll sell the Speedy, and they'll go back and forth. Even AJ, who's a member of the Properly Wound group, he just picked up another Speedy, right? He picked up Pat Ma's Speedy.
Yeah, but I think he might even be like trying to sell it again.
Do you know what I mean?
You know, it's just like a constant rotation.
It's that same stigma that you feel like you can pick that watch back up.
It's like, oh, it's no big deal. I can sell this because I can pick it back up, you know?
Yeah, that's what my roadmap, or again, my off-road map sort of consists of more oddball pieces or things that are less common. You know, I picked this up on a whim. This is my Raymond Weil Parsifal. You probably never heard of it. It's a privately owned group. They're Swiss made. The Parsifal is a patented design. This is their own watch, and it sort of caught my attention because it has this beautiful like Singer subdial set with the big blocks on the subdials, and it's just a very attractive Panda chronograph. And I bought it on a whim, but I was looking for features. So when I look for a watch, I sort of look for features, and the feature set that is in my Grand Seiko, which I'll say is probably my only lifer, was exactly what I wanted. I wanted something that had a very nautical presence and appearance. I wanted something with a very unique bracelet that it's featured on nothing else, and I wanted something with a good movement. Time only specifically, but it's hard to find watches with just time only. So it is a time and date. It does have a calendar window. And that's okay. But that, for me, is a lifer, especially because the story, and I'll link a video for you guys to see how I picked up the watch and the kind of woes I went through just to make sure it was a running watch. And I love that piece to death. I'm probably never going to get rid of it.
That's your one lifer.
That's probably my one lifer. I can look at my collection of 6 watches, and I'd say that in my rotation, the other 5 are up for grabs. You know, I mean, the only other watch that I'm really, really starting to fall in love with is that Eterna, the Eterna Matic. And we haven't featured it on the show. Perhaps we'll talk about it in a video this week. We'll see. Or in the coming weeks, rather. But yeah, that's a watch. It's a watch I would keep.
So next step is create a clear, concise list of wants and desires. So this one's kind of up for interpretation a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But that's also why I'm on a buying freeze right now, so I can really kind of roadmap what watches I want to have in the future. So I literally have like I would say like 2 watches that I can say for sure that I'm going to have.
Do you consider that watch you're wearing right now a part of your roadmap or part of your collection? Do you know what I mean? So Adam's wearing a G-Shock right now. Yeah, because I see some people that say they're going to do a one-watch collection, but then they have a G-Shock as well.
Right.
A lot of people don't consider that as a part of their collection.
You know, I'm not going to say that this one in particular is a lifer, but I think like a G-Shock in my collection is a lifer. Yeah,
is a lifer.
It's a lifer. So, you know, I mean, I have 2 right now, so.
Okay.
But yeah, clear, concise list. I can say without a doubt that my wedding watch, whenever that's going to be, is going to be a JLC Reverso.
You're not going to do rings.
Jaeger LeCoultre.
You're going to do what?
Oh no, rings too.
Okay.
Rings too for sure. But on my wedding day, I am going to wear a Jaeger LeCoultre, a JLC Reverso. Like no, I don't know which one yet. I don't know if it's going to be a duo face. I don't know if it's going to be an ultra thin. It's definitely going to be a grand tie case. It probably will be just the simple face with the steel back.
I love those.
You know, so maybe I can engrave something on there.
Date of the wedding would be cool.
Yeah, right.
Cool.
So the JLC Reverso, and then my ultimate grail, I would say, in terms of hot horology, is a Lange. Probably the Lange 1 or a Lange Datograph, but some type of Lange is up there, along with an FP Journe.
So your roadmap's interesting right now. You've got
I'm talking like long-term
Yeah.
ones, you know. But then I have a short list of sort of watches that I'm still debating, which is great. This is great that I'm on a buying freeze, so I don't go out and buy a Tudor Pelagos, because that's a blue in-house is one of the ones that's on my list that I'm contemplating, along with a couple other JLCs like a Master Compressor, Memovox, and a Glashütte original.
You want a modern Memovox.
Yeah, modern Memovox. And maybe a Master Compressor chronograph. But see, these are all things that I'm sort of toying with, or maybe a Zenith El Primero tricolor. I have a list of like maybe 10 watches that I still don't know which one's going to be my next one. But I'm trying to sort of hold off, sell off some watches, and then make my next piece potentially a lifer or a long-term keeper.
I feel like I'm the flip side of this coin here because I don't really have an active roadmap. I've got a long list of watches I'm very interested in, and you know, I try to pick them up at a reasonable price whenever I can. You know, because I watch market values. I see when there's a downturn in the trend for a price, and if it's a good price, I'll pick it up because I know I can, again, like you said earlier in the video, you know, break even or make a little money off of it. You know, but that's not why you should be buying watches. I mean, some people obviously make a business out of it. I'm just a consumer.
You can though too, you know, you can have your keeper list, and then you can have those 2 or 3 watches that you're just looking for crazy good deals, you know. And
you can really find yourself in a rut though financially if you do that too
True.
often. And you know, like I've definitely rung up the credit card when I shouldn't have. So maybe I should have a stricter list. But I don't. And a long term for me, I can see myself. These are watches I want to experience, and it's tough to say that it's something you want. Like, because I fantasize about JLC Reversos too. You know, I don't have a particular model in mind. I just love the watch. I love its mechanical qualities. I think it's one of the coolest sports watches. It's a sports watch ever designed.
Yeah.
And I want one, but it's, you know, the thing is, I'm not sure if I'm going to like it until I experience it. And I think that's why I go off the road so often. Because imagine if you bought that watch for your wedding and there's something you don't like about it, and you've got it engraved and all this stuff. It's tough though, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Because like there's watches that I fantasize about, and very rarely does a watch ever meet my expectations. You know?
Well,
that's what makes it difficult.
To build on that though, I think if you're creating this kind of roadmap, you have to be able to see these watches in person first.
Yeah.
At some point, and maybe even just wear it, like have a friend let you borrow it or something like that. You know, like that's imperative in creating this long-term list. Because if you've never had it and you decide to order it and it comes in and you're like, oh crap, I really don't like this, and your grail is a total disappointment, then you're kind of screwed, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, you can return it, but your whole philosophy kind of backfired on you. So I think it's really important to at least be able to see and spend some time with the watch that's your grail, you know, or that's on your acquisition list.
Yeah.
But anyways, good points all around. Next thing is trim the fat. Pretty standard here is if you do have that next watch on your roadmap within reach, sell the watches that don't really matter to you. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to be selling my Nomos Club, probably going to be selling my Seiko Sumo, currently selling my Aura 65. I'm sort of like trying to trim the fluff, you know what I mean? And because I know that my Explorer, my Nomos are my only keepers right now anyway. So, and I might be aiming for AJ's Master Compressor Memovox soon.
Is he looking to sell it?
Yeah, he will be soon.
Ouch.
So.
Oh. Well, guys, this all depends on the kind of collector you are too.
Yeah.
Like if you're collecting for numbers, like if you want, you know, every single X in its entire color range, then you know that's how you are as a collector, and that's fine.
Then those are keepers.
And those are definitely keepers.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I have some golden rules that I apply to my collecting habits, but it's not the same for everyone. You know what I mean? So it's like
I mean, like if you're a vintage Seiko collector, like obviously your list of keepers or lifers, even for the life of the collection at least, it's going to be pretty damn long because you got your bullheads, you got your Pogues, you got your 6105s,
just
309s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just that sub collection alone is going to have a crap ton of watches. So it is very bit dependent. So this is more for the collector that sort of wants to keep their, I guess, modern core to like a really small number.
Yeah, so I on that note, like trimming the fat is really just another way of saying eliminate redundancies. You know what I mean? Like my collection right now, this watch is definitely a redundancy, and I bought it on a whim because I absolutely love the aesthetic, but it is so similar in dial design to my Omega Dynamic that I've been really fighting with which one I sell and which one I keep. You know, this.
I say Dynamic.
You know, the Dynamic is really great. It's like on the wrist, it's such a great machine, but then the Raymond Weil has its own charms to it as well. It's very tough for me. But yeah, they're damn near the same aesthetic. Like the same sword hands, same font choice with the Arabic numerals. They're very, very close. Although this is a little bit more feature-rich than the Dynamic. The Dynamic has a wonderful bracelet, and it's weird. Like you go through a lot when you're trying to trim the fat. It's tough though, especially when your collection is tight knit.
Yeah.
Deciding what stays, what goes is rather difficult. But once you make that assessment, I think it's smart to just sell off.
And before we do the next one, guys, the whole thing that kind of got me started with this was my pact with Pat Ma, but also it was an article that I saw on Deployant.com. We'll actually link this article because this really got my head spinning. There's a collector who had, I think, like a Panerai, a Rolex Deep Sea, a Lange, something else, and like a G-Shock. And he ended up selling everything.
But the G-Shock.
but the G-Shock.
And
ended up getting a Lange Datograph.
Yeah.
So he literally has like one of the pinnacles of hot horology, and then a G-Shock. You know what I mean? Someone made an incredible comment. They said he literally has the ocean in a shot glass. You know what I mean? Like both exact opposite ends of the spectrum of watches. And he said he probably wants to add like a Rolex in there, you know, just to sort of have like a luxury beater or whatever. But that idea of kind of selling off everything that you don't really need and sort of investing in the pieces that you really want, or maybe some of your dream watches, it's like such a liberating thought for me, you know?
Yeah.
It's feeling like, okay, instead of these 15 watches, F it, I'm gonna go and get the Rolex Submariner ceramic, or maybe for some of you guys, maybe like a Blancpain 50 Fathoms, or whatever it may be. Maybe it's even just like a Speedmaster, you know, or selling your Seikos to get a Speedmaster or SMP ceramic. That idea was really appealing to me, and the fact that the guy had the balls to just sell watches that he really did love to get sort of a watch that he was going to love even more.
Yeah.
That really got my head spinning.
And you'll see that article. I was looking over it too, and the watches he sold. I mean, he had some really great. It was the James Cameron Deep Sea.
Yeah, the James Cameron Deep Sea.
What do they call that dial? The dial was absolutely stunning on this watch. It's a limited edition.
Yeah.
It's very rare that Rolex does that. So I mean, like these were really interesting, unique watches that he sold off to make this sort of one watch collection. Yeah. But the watch he purchased was
2-watch collection.
I mean, that's the thing, right? That's the thing.
But like that's what I'm sort of thinking. I'm like, well, I have my Nomos, I'll have the Explorer, I'll have the G-Shock, and then maybe just like one nice piece, and keep it to like 4 to 5 watches. Anyways, next one.
The state of our collections will be radically different. You see us next. Right. 5,000 subs. We're almost there. 5,000. I think we're 4,000 maybe at the release of this video.
Next one, stop the constant browsing. Because that is what really kills the watch enthusiast, or kills his wallet.
Yeah.
You guys need to stop going through all the Facebook forums, all the Instagrams, all the eBay listings, Watch Recon. Because I think that if you're impulsive to begin with, I mean, that's just a recipe for disaster. Especially if you just sold a watch and you say, like, let's say you have like $2,000 just sitting in your PayPal.
Yeah.
Oh my, just throw that in your bank account. Because if that's sitting there and you come up on a watch that you've been thinking about but don't really care for, you're probably just going to buy it.
You're like, well, I got the money now.
I got the money now.
In the PayPal.
I've always wanted to try it.
Yeah.
You know? So stopping the browsing's, I think, important.
Yeah. On that same note, I definitely agree. I've got a habit of browsing like late night. It was like I'm in bed, I got nothing else to do. I'm like, let's just see what popped up here. Let's just see what popped up here. And I got a long list of things that I'm very interested in. You know, at least 10 watches off the top of my head that I can think of.
On your watch list constantly.
I'm on the lookout for, because they're either really hard to find or just never show up. Good examples never show up. And if I do see it, then I'm going to be a little impulsive.
Yeah.
But even that's okay. Like if you're browsing with a limit, I think that's okay. But you just can't
too.
search the world over for something that is going to pique your interest. I'll suggest you just watch videos on YouTube, or you'll go to different forums where people discuss watches. I think that's a healthier way to get into the habit than just looking at images with price tags, because you're going to wind up hurting yourself for sure. Especially if you're impulsive like us. It's difficult. It's
and on the
really
flip
difficult.
side, by the way, guys, so the Marine Master, I don't think it looks super flattering in pictures, but in person, I mean, that thing is a total beast. Like, absolutely love that watch.
Yeah.
And just like Pat's saying, kind of going through those eBay listings and sort of picking off really great deals is good, but after time, it adds up a little bit. And if you roadmap your collection, maybe all those bids that you do late night could have added up to your dream, whatever it is.
Oh, I know for sure.
What I mean?
Like I was looking for a Tutimo. I mentioned wanting to get a Tutimo or Rodania military chronograph, and in 1 month I spent well over. I could have bought like 2 Tutimos.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like I wanted to test what a Lemania 5100 feels like. I wanted to see what one of these military chronos feel like in person. I absolutely love the aesthetic, and I could have. I definitely could have. There's so many good examples I saw go by with like boxes and papers and like in great shape on bracelets and steel cases, titanium cases, and I fell prey to that browsing habit where I just saw something else that was a little less, and I'm like, maybe I should try that instead of getting the one that I really do want. So that's really what this video is about today. Focus, get a very concise list of things that you want to try and potentially keep. And hopefully those watches will become lifers for you, as we call them. Pieces that you'll be more than satisfied with. Because I think that's the end game here. And it's tough, because even when you do get that watch, you do find yourself browsing. So you just need to cut down. Like, when your browsing should consist of this. You should just be enjoying this. You know what I mean?
If you're browsing good deals, just stop what you're doing, go to your local AD, and just try some watches and play with them.
Yeah.
And that's probably a good way to divert your attention, because if you decide to buy brand new retail prices from the AD, that's just
it's going to put you off. It's going to put you off.
Exactly.
Everyone will buy that watch for $5,000?
Yeah. So go and play with them.
Yeah.
And then the last point, guys, is just enjoy what you actually have on the wrist.
Yeah.
Just like you enjoy your current collection. I've been a victim of getting caught up in what I want and not enjoying, like, for example, my Rolex Explorer, which I have a newfound appreciation for, and I've been wearing almost every single day. Just enjoy what you actually have. Remember that collecting watches isn't always about the hunt, but actually enjoying what you have.
Yeah. Guys, if you found this video enlightening, or you enjoyed the commentary on this episode, I'll invite you to also comment in the comment section down below to share your thoughts on watch collecting and road mapping. If you do have a roadmap, share us your opinions on what you're doing and what you're actually looking to get in the future, and how do you maintain your sanity, and also just with that end goal in sight, how do you keep so strict? Because I'm sure that would help all of us, including ourselves. Because it's good to share this sort of commentary with each other. Like, I'd love to know how you guys collect. And if you like this video, feel free to hit that like button. Guys, we do videos like this twice a week, so if you want to join us for more content like this, I'll encourage you to subscribe to the channel. You can hit the little logo down here or the subscribe button. Either will do it. And also you can follow us on our other forums.
That's right. I can't wait for people in the comments to be like, you guys are crazy, man. I've had my roadmap set out for like years.
Some people do, and they have
they
funds, like the Rolex fund or whatever it is.
And they save up. They save up for years for their first Submariner or something.
It's called my savings, dude. Pop out of there.
Right.
Anyway, guys, we have links in the description to all our other various media formats. So if you want to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or the website, you can find us there.
That's right.
Anyway, guys, thank you for joining us on this one, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you guys.